Hi, it's Anthony from Hell Dominance coming to you with a breaking news story from the NRL. Please keep watching. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments afterwards. Hello people, just a quick little bit of information for you. As it turns out, the NRL Grand Final 2021 between Penrith and South Sydney could be postponed for this year, for a time being, as a COVID break in Queensland has caused many events to be postponed, and the Queensland Premier said she'd have no qualms of calling off the Grand Final. So the captains and coaches have declared they'll do as they are told, as the prospect of postponing the Grand Final remains an option ahead of Sunday's decider in Brisbane. Officials will monitor Queensland's latest COVID outbreak until hours before the game, with a postponement becoming more realistic if the outbreak worsens or a lockdown is forced. In a positive sign for the NRL, just 2 locally acquired cases of coronavirus were recorded in Queensland on Friday, and the government has so far resisted a lockdown. And it was business as usual as hundreds of mask-wearing fans gathered in the NRL's Brisbane CBD entertainment zone to welcome both teams as Penrith and South Sydney arrived in the Sunshine Coast and Gold Coast base respectively. South Coast Wayne Bennett says everything has its own challenge on Friday. The players are ready to play, be it tomorrow, next week, or the week after. They'll play. It's all something we can't control. There is no conversation about it. We're preparing for Sunday, and if that changes, it changes. Queensland Premier Anastasia Palasic. Too many Z's in that, too many constants, I'm afraid. So I apologise if I got that incorrect. Has already reduced the crowds to 75% for the sold-out event, but maintains the final decision on whether the game goes ahead with the crowds won't be made until game day. The head of tourism has been speaking to the NRL, she said, but can I just make it very clear? If there's advice, if the advice is to go into lockdown, we will go into lockdown. There is no ifs or buts here, people. This is very serious, so it's going to depend whether we see any unlinked community transmissions over the next 24 to 48 hours. Friday's case numbers were promising but the NRL has an anxious wait over the weekend. ARLC chairman Peter Vlandis confirmed Friday morning it would be difficult to move the game to Townsville for logistical reasons that would have to be decided on before Saturday. When we negotiated with the government, we always had a plan B. That was to go to Townsville, Vlandis told 2GB. Logistically, now, that would be very hard. We would have to make a decision today because you would have to get TV crews and OB vans to Townsville from Brisbane, and that takes time. Landy says a postponement was now more than likely fallback option, with the league still hoping to go ahead with 75 or 50% crowds in Brisbane. Again, they're saying postponement is a definite option. We won't take any action without consulting the coaches and teams, but we want crowds. And if it means postponing the event to get crowds, we will do so. Sydney could still potentially feature as the unlikely host if the Queensland lockdown was to linger, given crowds are likely to return to New South Wales from October the 11th. Crowds will be capped at 5,000 for fully vaccinated people, provided the state reaches 75% double dosages next week, as expected. Everything's on the table, and they said it will be a hard decision because, naturally, when you make these decisions, it doesn't please everyone. But we will take time, and we'll make the best decision for the players and the fans. So it's interesting. the Australian government, the Queensland government, and even the NRL saying that the game may be postponed due to COVID. Tell me what your thoughts are. Quick news update for you guys. So, what do you think? Should they postpone it, or should they move it to Townsville?